And obviously, if we look after our people, look after our businesses, including cash flow, then we'll be higher performing, we'll be better businesses for it.
Today, I'm talking with Chris Cummings, founder of Wellbeing at Work, who started his Global Summit series not because he spotted a market opportunity, but because he watched his partner's mental health crisis be made worse by their workplace and decided he had to change the conversation. Yeah, if you want to just tell me a little bit more then about what you do specifically and how you got started, I would love to start there.
Yeah, so we Wellbeing at Work in 2014. So been going 12 years now. It's been a crazy journey. And essentially we host gatherings called Wellbeing at Work Summits. It's for leaders within organizations and corporates to come together, learn, share, and to provide new initiatives, new strategies to look after their people in the workplace, and hopefully empower performance and all of the good stuff that we want as business leaders.
Yeah. So what led you to start doing these summits?
It's actually my partner's mental health condition and subsequent treatment at work, and it really stopped me in my tracks, really. And I was busy doing my own thing in the corporate world, and I saw what happened at home, and it really motivated me to try and change the narrative around well-being and mental health within the workplace. I think back then we were probably providing fruit bowls on a Friday and a few yoga classes and thinking it was all okay. But I just felt, and the data and the evidence over the last decade has really developed. And obviously, if we look after our people, look after our businesses, including cash flow, then we'll be higher performing, we'll be better businesses for it. So that's really my mission.
Yeah, I love that. I really can't stand when people say the best asset a business has is its people, because people are so much more than an asset. And it's kind of true. Like, that is the one thing that you really have to treat well, because without it, what else do you have? You just have a job for yourself as a business.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so important. And you can see it in businesses whenever I go into organizations, and you can see what sort of culture they have created by what you spot in the reception area, if those people are thriving or burning out. So yeah, healthy businesses, healthy profits, hopefully.
Yeah. So I'm imagining you're working with, I think I saw on your website, small to medium-sized enterprises. Is that accurate? Or who are you trying to attract to your summits?
The attendees tend to be medium to enterprise level. So we actually have our New York summit next week. So we'll have all of the big names from around that region attending and involved in the summits. We tend to find that those organizations are really placing the importance high, but there are great SMEs out there, it's included, that really want to look after their people. So we do have some SMEs attending our events, but primarily our sweet spot is those larger organizations.
I'm imagining this could be a really fun conversation for us, because I tend to work more with the small business owners who I think could support other small businesses that want to bring wellness into the workplace. It sounds like you're really targeting, like you said, those enterprise level. And some of the people we're working with, I'm like, maybe this is a really good partnership idea for them with their local businesses that are just like the small mom and pops, or 10, 15 employees who maybe you aren't necessarily targeting, but it could be a great opportunity for some of the smaller fitness businesses in the world to really partner up and bring this in a more local way.
We're a small business ourselves. There's only 20 of us. So I understand those challenges and understand how to have that point of difference when you're a small business to help attract those talents. You can't do some of the things that the larger organizations can provide as a small business, but you can create an amazing culture and allows people to thrive. And I've actually just written a book about this whole decade of journey, really, to talk about why well-being was at the heart of what we did and how that's helped us grow. So I really think there's great opportunities for small businesses to find that piece.
Well, since you brought up challenges and we're in the financial industry, I'm just going to dive right in. And like I said, we don't have to get all the nitty-gritty details out there, but what is the biggest financial challenge that you're currently facing running your business in the health and wellness space?
Well, I think with all businesses our size, there's always cash flow challenges. Some of those lengthy payment terms that we have to deal with, and managing the cash flow is always a challenge. And as you grow, and we've been fortunate in recent years to be growing, it's a real balancing act. How many more people do we take on? How do we balance that? and how long does it take them to get settled in so they can start to provide a return. So yeah, it's a constant balancing act, and I'm sure you'll be aware of that, but it's a challenge that thankfully, touch wood, we're continuing to manage successfully.
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you found any strategies, or what specific strategies have you found that are helping you maintain that cash flow, manage that cash flow?
Yeah, making sure that the payment terms are as manageable as possible, which is always, some people like to really push the limit. I think we've started putting small penalties in those late payment terms because it's really crippling for a business of our size. So that we're not going to come down too hard on all of our clients, but we just want a fair deal in terms of payment terms. And like with all well-being, the finance side of things need to have a strong wellness strategy, I think. And so looking at all areas, look, we're risk takers, we want to grow, but being sensible with those decisions and not going too wild with doing lots of people all at once and go down in that cash flow situation. So like, it's a constant balancing act for sure.
For sure. Agreed. In all businesses, like you said, and no business owner likes to be, like you said, put the hammer down and put on strong penalties or anything like that. But at the same time, we're all out here trying to survive, right? So it does come down to that for sometimes. In terms of daily operations, what do you feel like are the most significant hurdles you are facing right now to keep your business running smoothly?
I think that our biggest asset, and we touched on it earlier, is our people and making sure that they're match fit for delivering on what is a fast moving company, and we need sustainable high performance throughout. So we're always busy, like most small businesses. You've always got deadlines around the corner and lots of things to manage. And we try our best to really look after our people to ensure that sustainable high performance is achieved, because losing people and losing that talent or having people sick is, for a business of our size, it's a big chunk of resource that comes out of the business very quickly. So important. We're quite a lean organization, and so really keeping people sustainably healthy so they can continue to do that. But I think that there's always challenges around people within a business, and I don't think there's any other business owner that I've spoken to who isn't going through the same thing. So we try to do our best, but that can really impact our trajectories for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Especially for a business that's your whole mission is to bring wellness in. You have to be practicing what you preach, right?
Absolutely.
Understand that. I mean, we do that too. And it is a major drain when one person is out, especially like you said, with 20 people. So makes
Yeah, it's a big impact. How do you find it? How do you balance that?
well, when you have those systems in place, right? And you're running a lean business, you know that you're fiscally healthy. It allows you to have that wiggle room, right? If you're running break even all the time, there is no wiggle room. You can't absorb that. But if you're running profitably, it allows you to do things that you just can't do in other times. And I feel like for me as a business owner and for our clients too, it kind of manages our own nervous system, right? Like we don't get freaked out. We don't get triggered and all the things when that's happening, because we know we're okay. We've got whatever it is, 30, 60, 90 days of runway to absorb that. And somebody's sick for a day, like that's a drop in the bucket when you think about the big picture, right? Now, if we start talking long term, but then we have time for those conversations. This is going back, but that was the biggest kind of eye opener for a lot of businesses in 2020 with COVID in the US when they got shut down, right? They didn't have that runway. And it was like, you just don't know what's around the corner. People are always around the corner, but who knows what else is there. So we just have to have that buffer built in that really just allows us to absorb and give ourselves a pause before we respond rather than react.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that we did a few years back is, in addition to the finance department that we have and the people involved in that, is actually a financial analysis person. So really drilling down into the margins and really diving deep instead of just having a P&L or balance sheet, whatever it might be, really understanding where we can make savings, where we can impact the top lines. And that's been life-changing for me, because you really do have a complete hold on all of the aspects of the business, instead of it just being the sort of whatever platform you're using, finance platform, to tell you where you are day to day. Really diving deep into that analysis, which has been really useful.
Yeah. obviously is what we do. I'm a strong proponent of business owners understanding their numbers, right? I tell people all the time, like every decision you make in business affects your numbers. It doesn't feel like it when you're making the decision, but I can see that effect down the road. At some point, I will be like, what caused this? And we can usually trace it back to every time to some decision that a business owner made. And so if you're not thinking about that and you don't have that foundation of knowing your numbers, your business or your decisions are just made off of what feels good in the moment. And that's a great place to be in the moment, but it doesn't usually pay off long term.
Absolutely. No, it's been a real game changer for us for sure. And just gives me that evidence base to make the decision instead of going off on a whim, which lots of business owners tend to do because you get all excited about growth or whatever it might be. And it just puts probably needed a bit of that to rein me in a little bit.
Yes. We all do, right? I mean, we're visionaries, we're business owners, we're out here and we're inundated with information and opportunities and exciting new ideas constantly. And so there has to be something that kind of reins us in, and numbers tend to do that. The money tends to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Chris, as you look to the future, what are some of your big goals for growth and development in the next, 2 to 5 years?
Well, we're just going to keep banging the drum, the importance of well-being and bringing more evidence to the table and demonstrating to organizations. I'd love every organization to have a department on well-being as well as sales, finance, ops, all of the other areas, because I think like finance, it really has an impact on performance. And if we can get that right, then the profitability, I think, can really grow and the performance can really grow in organizations. So we've seen some great work around the world from certain organizations, and we'd just love to see more and more companies doing that. And really, when they say on their website, our people are our most important asset, then they actually mean it.
They actually, follow through with it, right? What's your best connection at some of the enterprise level organizations that you would hope to be working with?
Yeah, our audience and community is primarily benefits, HR sort of job titles. We are starting to see more finance professionals coming to the table because they want to know where their investment's going and understand this, which is completely right, and operations as well. So primarily I would say 70% of our community would be in that HR world, as you'd expect, looking after their people. But that is broadening out. And as we talk about the link to performance, I think we're starting to broaden out our tentacles within organizations to help them understand how it can impact so many different areas, just like the finance team would as well. I think it's a big issue across the organization, and that's certainly what we're trying to do.
That makes sense. Cool. Well, I really appreciate your time today. Is there anything else that you feel like you want to say about profitability and wellness of organizations?
I think we've covered quite a bit, Shannon. It was great. It was lovely to talk to you and lovely to connect.
Like I said, I really appreciate your time. This was great to get to know you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks again. Good to meet you.
Thank you. You as well. Good luck next week.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Numbers. If today's conversation resonated with you, subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a new episode every week. And if you're a health or wellness business owner who's ever wondered what's really going on behind your own numbers, I'd love to talk. Head to fitforprofit.com to learn more or book a complimentary clarity call. We'll see you next week.